Hey, Tom, good stuff as always, man. I've got Doering. I've got Watson here with me. We've still got stuff going on. There's some late drama. One big game in this league, one big game outside this league. We will catch you up on all that. South Carolina gave up 36 yards to Kentucky in the second half.
Throw in the second quarter, though. 91 total yards in the final three quarters, 4 takeaways, 6 sacks. So the first quarter got a little squirrely on them, but after that, they locked them down, and that's when the defense took over.
That's been a question for them. I mean, both sides of the ball have been a bit of a question, but how do you replace all those guys? They get contributions from everywhere. How do you shut down the Kentucky run game? They managed to do that.
Well, I mean, you get pressure, and Cutter-Boley, God bless him, but he's a freshman quarterback trying to start against one of the best defenses, or at least one of the best defensive players in Dylan Stewart, who got a sack, got a forced fumble, and so tough sledding for him. I think that what we saw from South Carolina was the way they have to win football games. Last week, -9 yards rushing. Today, 170 yards rushing. They were able to run the football, led by Lenore Sellers. Got the running backs involved, but also defensively. You mentioned the 4 turnovers. Get 19 points, 21 points off of those turnovers. Pick 6, scoop and score. What you call a total team effort when every phase of the team is contributing. And again, I want to give my hats off to the fans, too. We saw this team struggle last week. We've seen in the past some struggle, but the fans continue to show up and show out, especially in bad weather. I think what Coach Beamer said is important when you talk about the fans and the support that this football team has from the folks in Columbia.
Yeah, one of the best home field advantages, and I know they were disappointed last time they were there when Vandy came in there and beat them pretty good, so the fans to show up like that is big time. But Lenore Sellers, you mentioned, Lenore Sellers looked like the Lenore Sellers of last year against Clemson, under pressure, making guys miss. He's like a magician getting out of trouble back there, turning negative plays into positive gains. So not the cleanest execution. You talked about him being the leading rusher. I don't necessarily know if you want him scrambling for rushing yards like that all the time, but they did find a way to do something that Cutter-Boley couldn't do, and that's get out of all the immense pressure. That
they have to. They have to do that. And when South Carolina is at their best, well, Lenore Sellers is at his best, you see him scramble. Now, to your point about making those decisions, I mean, I could think all the way back to the South Carolina game last year, the end of last year, where he had that big run. Coach Beamer said, well, he actually should have thrown the football. That would have been the right decision to make. But he is masterful, and he's a special football player when he has the confidence, but also when he has some of those guys around him in the run game and in the passing game to help out a bit.
Lenore Sellers, by the way, threw for 153, but did run for 81. And if you scrape off the yardage of the 2 sacks he had, he then carried it 12 times for almost 100 yards. So you may not want him running that many times, but he was certainly effective when he was. Alabama has gone to Athens and knocked off the Georgia Bulldogs 24-21. Despite not scoring a second half point, Alabama hangs on for the win in their first game in Athens since 2015. They won that year there as well. In fact, they've won 10 of the last 11 meetings against Georgia, but this one just absolutely massive. And Ty Simpson was incredible yet again. Of late, he's become, I saw on one website, a Heisman Trophy front runner now. We're going to get into this as we move along and fire up a full 60-minute SEC football final. But how impressive is this and significant is this for Alabama? If you go back to week 1, and we all thought, oh, my goodness, we're all talking about, everybody's looking up Kalen DeBoer's buyout. That seems like 2 years ago at this point.
Yeah, Kalen DeBoer now 2-0 against Kirby Smart. I mean, that in and of itself is something that very few coaches can say. So I can't say enough about Ty Simpson, the passing game. I mean, these receivers, it is evolved, and it's evolved because the offensive line has evolved. The offensive line is now given time to Ty Simpson to be able to throw the ball down the field the way that they did. Credit Georgia for making some adjustments in the second half, get some stops, but you made the point before, like the slow starts, inevitably you're going to run out of gas at some point in time. They just didn't have enough after they fell behind by as much as they did early.
Yeah, slow starts hurt Georgia. They have hurt Georgia, but Georgia's been able to rebound from those sorts of things. But you got to give credit to Alabama. Alabama goes on the road, hostile environment, a team that's won 33 straight games at home. They have 2 14-play drives. They drop a deep touchdown to Ryan Williams, but then they recover and they methodically go down the field. And I can't say enough about Ty Simpson either. I mean, the statistics, we'll get into them, but when you look at this team in week 1 against Florida State, look at what they've done the last couple of weeks. Look at where they all are now, beating a team widely regarded by many of us as number 1 in the SEC. And they're doing it with a lot of different pieces. You get Jan Miller back. You're able to run the football a bit. You include Isaiah Horton, obviously Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams, Ty Simpson still continues to look perfect. He's masterful when it comes to controlling this offense. And so I think for Kalen DeBoer, I mean, he can go home proud. I mean, honestly, over the last couple of weeks, in the last year, it's been tough for him. It's going to be interesting to see what Alabama's fans say, but it just goes to show what happens when you allow a coach to do his thing, give him a little bit of time, a little bit of leeway. Huge one for Alabama.
You know, real quick, Ty Simpson, after he scored, hushed the Georgia fans. Kalen DeBoer needs to hush the Alabama fans, right? That should do it right there. Right?
I would think this would do it. Yeah. Remember Legend on the Feinbaum show?
He'll be calling back. He'll be calling back.
No, he won't. He won't admit his wrongness, I'm sure. Alabama, I should say Kirby Smart against Alabama's 1-7. Against everybody else, he's 107-13. Alabama has Kirby Smart's number. And their quarterback, Ty Simpson, is playing incredible football. Here he is after the game with Holly Rowe.
This was your first time playing between the hedges. You end a 33-game home winning streak for Georgia. How did you do it tonight?
Man, first off, I just want to thank the Lord. You know, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ wouldn't be here. You know, he gave us opportunity and the blessing to play today. But, you know, credit to my teammates, man. My defense stepped up in big times. You know, a lot of guys on offense, I couldn't do it without them, man. I'm just so proud of this team and you know, Alabama in general. I told them before the game, it's Alabama against the world. When we walk out of there, we're gladiators. All right, and this is the Coliseum, and they played like it.
You're right. This is one of the best atmospheres I've ever seen, and you were poised and composed, and you didn't let it rattle you. How?
You know, one, like I said, you know, my Lord and Savior. But, you know, it goes back to, one, my coaches and my teammates. You know, we just all week, we were intentional at everything we did, right? And it showed out here tonight. You know, we played complementary football. When, you know, we couldn't get it going on offense in the second half, our defense played a hell of a job. And, man, I'm just so proud of my teammates, man. They did an awesome job.
Last question. This game is almost on ice, but you have got to get a crucial third down. Tell me about the play call, the misdirection to go to your running back.
Yeah, we call that a break glass moment. You know, I told him, I was like, give me the ball, man. You know, in critical conditions, give me the ball and I'll make a play. You know, they brought blitz 0. I knew once we motioned him, we had him because nobody was going to take the back. And Jam made a good job. The tight end did a great job of sealing it, and we made a great play.
You know, Georgia was creeping up on Alabama's record for longest all-time win streak at home in SEC history, but Alabama hath put a stop on that. If you're from a Georgia perspective, what cost you?
The early drives. It was from the very beginning. You get the ball first, you go 3 and out, you punt the ball to Alabama. You're not able to get off the field on third down. Alabama in that first quarter alone goes 8 of 11 or so on third downs. And Georgia's defense just couldn't get off the field. And so when that happened, you look at the play call, you look at the total plays for each team, and Georgia's sitting at 7 plays of offense, and Alabama has 25 plays of offense. You don't have enough opportunities because you're not getting off the field on third down.
Alabama just played clean football. I mean, they gave up 1 sack. That means they allowed Ty Simpson to throw the football down the field, 8 passes of over 15 yards or more. That's what Alabama's been doing the last 3 games.
Magnolia Bowl. Home team has won the last 5 between Ole Miss and LSU, and the home team on this day would be Ole Miss. We go to Oxford Lane Kiffin and company looking for their second 5-0 start in the 6 seasons that Lane has been in charge. First quarter, Garrett Nussmeier to Xavier Thomas. Questions all about LSU's offense and their efficiency, but pretty good start here with a 50-yard grab.
What happened to the days of safeties cleaning receivers up when the ball hangs in the air like that? Didn't even get a hand on it.
Just ran right past?
4 plays later. Strange play here. The big 6'7" tight end, Trey'Dez Green, kind of bats
Not
it
a strange
forward.
play, a great play by
that's a
Trey'Dez
good
Green.
point.
It would have been intercepted. He does a great job playing defense, and it falls into the waiting arms of Nick Anderson for the touchdown. Look at him. See that right there? That would have been an interception.
That ball needs to be high and outside.
To a 6'7" tight end, yes.
Yep.
All right, second quarter. Late in the quarter, Ole Miss driving. And Trinidad Chambliss, QB1, at least for now, and some people would say, I don't know how not forever, throws a pick. You saw some hand fighting there between the receiver and the defensive back. Yeah, that was more than hand fighting. That was defensive pass interference, and that wipes the touchdown and the interception away. 3 plays later, Ole Miss makes them pay. Kewan Lacey put him a 23-carry, 87-yard day through the middle, nearly untouched. Ole Miss takes the lead.
Perfect back of that offense, B-Dub.
Oh, exactly. We've been talking about it. He's been somewhat of a surprise, but he has been the one really pacing this offense from a running back perspective.
You know what Lane Kiffin loves to do on fourth down? Go for it.
I think everybody goes for it now.
It seems like it.
But the play call,
Works.
yeah, no doubt about it. The play fake in that 4th and 1 situation, slipping the tight end out, and we talked about Daquan Wright. More big plays for him to come in.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to see something similar again. That converts the 4th down. And then Chambliss to Caden Lee. 2 plays later, touchdown, and the Rebels go up 10, 17 unanswered points.
285 yards of offense put up on that Blake Baker defense in the first half.
By the way, Chambliss, we knew he could run. We say this every week. How about a 3rd straight 300-yard passing game? Chambliss, Harrison, Trey Wallace. Let's go, Trey. 18 yards.
On the money, on a rope. That's how you have to throw that dig route so the receiver can protect himself. Amazing throw by Chambliss.
You say dig? How about Diggs? Logan Diggs, former LSU
Where
Tiger.
have we seen him before?
Yeah. LSU, Notre Dame.
Yeah,
He's been around.
he's everywhere.
Ole Miss ran for 166 yards on 45 carries on the day. 4th quarter, LSU 4th and 5. Nussmeier picks it up to Kyle Parker for 10. Nussmeier threw for 197, a touchdown and a pick. 4 plays later, the freshman, Harlem Berry from 6. But LSU only ran for 57 yards on the day. Caden Durham's absence certainly felt. They go for 2, don't get it. They're down 5. Closing minutes, 4th and 3. Did we mention the Daquan Wright? We'd see him again on a 4th down play.
How about the decision to go for it on this part of your field, believing in your offense and the play design and play call in that situation?
No, but you're missing it. The fact that he, when the tight end gets the football, we're trying to take it to the house.
No.
And the fact that he decided to sit down and secure the win, way to go, young man. Way to go.
The last 2 drives for Ole Miss's offense, 4 minutes and 50 seconds for a touchdown and 5 minutes right there. We don't think of the offense as being one that sustains drive, but they did it today multiple times.
And I know we're going to talk on the back end of this Lane Kiffin soundbite about the defensive performance. They gave up 254 yards to LSU to get to 5-0 for the second time in 6 seasons under Lane.
Well, LSU has a great team. They have great players. That's one of the best rosters in America. And it was a tough game, like these games always are. Luckily, we've been able to win the last 3 at home, and they kept this rivalry alive, so we'll see them next year. We believe in our players. We go for it on 4th down a lot, and glad they made plays. I'm looking for Witt right now to see if he covered over.
It's such a weird thing. Witt weeks, dating his
Gambling
daughter.
references after every game.
Yes, unreal.
I don't know whether to laugh or it's kind of
Kind of a little cringy? Is it cringy?
Maybe it's not.
Look, if you're an Ole Miss fan, you can laugh all the way to 5-0 right now because you got a gem from Ferris State in Michigan to be your quarterback.
They are
Trinidad.
excited.
He's rolling, man.
Another 300-yard game by Trinidad Chambliss, and it's not just the 300 yards. He can run the football, but the accuracy and just the awareness that he has in the pocket, getting his receivers involved. Like, he's taking – and another thing, not turning the ball over. We kind of gloss over that, but he doesn't turn the ball over regularly like Austin Simmons does. And so, look, Trinidad Chambliss, he played like a champ today. 7 of 11, 99 yards on 3rd and 4th down, which are the critical downs. He continues to show up big for this football team, and he's got them poised and in the right position, especially at this point in time in the SEC race, to move where they want to go. You've got to be excited if you are Ole Miss and you found this diamond in the rough. Again, it goes to show in the portal era and the transfer era what can happen with the football team that prides themselves on the transfers that they bring in.
I think we all knew that Trinidad Chambliss in this offense was going to play well. I mean, that was the headline matchup, right? The offense of Ole Miss versus the LSU defense. You, O.P. Golding, an apology because the disrespect for the defense, I told you they've been getting better and getting better. Everybody wants to talk about Blake Baker as being the giraffe with the longest neck, but it was actually Pete Golding and what he did. Watch what they did here. 3-man rush all day long that they were able to get pressure on the quarterback. 2-way go for the end, knowing that if he breaks outside contained, you can got a defender coming from the 8-man drop to make him either throw the football or stop him for a short gain. This one, an incomplete pass. Now, how about this? Penetration from the nose. You're going to wrap the end around. He's going to be kind of a spy. So when he does get flushed out, keeping vision on the quarterback, coming to close out again, making him throw the football, rushing to his offhand. 2-way go to the top end this time as well. End goes inside. Quarterback flushes outside. The end in this case, Womack able to pressure him. And then how about that again? Nose penetration. You're going to wrap the end again in the spy, but it's the nose this time, Eccles, that's going to make the play. Only 1 sack of the day, but this 3-man rush package gave Garrett Nussmeier and the offense all they could handle today. Only 42% completion when they rushed 3. So great job by Pete Golding. As if, I told you, beautiful mind. That dude right there knows more about football, more about defense than anybody I've ever been around.
8 hurries, 4 by Cam Franklin defensive end. He made some tremendous plays as well. So you're right. You were right. You talked about it on Friday. You expected a big performance from that defense.
It was the run game and the defense. Those are things we haven't always talked about when it comes to Ole Miss football.
Congratulations, bro.
Thank you.
This does feel.
Is it because of Mateer's out? You got to make me feel better?
This does feel like his best team. And it's kind of quietly gotten there. Okay, the other side, a lot of people thought this would be Brian Kelly's best team. But the offense hasn't really come to play just yet, and that's something that BK addressed after this loss.
We didn't play complementary football, which you have to do in this league. You have to be able to complement your offense and defense, and we were out of sync with that. When our offense started to move the ball a little bit, our defense couldn't make a stop. In the first half, we couldn't do anything offensively. We settled for a field goal, or in one instance, we throw a pick down there. We just couldn't get this whole group playing together with the same effectiveness that you need to win games like this.
Bulldogs 4-0 for the first time since 2014 after a 2-10 season in year 1 under Jeff Lebby. Tennessee paying them a visit. Blake Shapen picked up by Colton Hood. Second defensive touchdown of the season. First ball to do that in 15 years.
Yeah, how about that for the transfer from Colorado? He was doing the Deion Sanders going into the end zone. You see, a tribute to his old coach.
Tennessee trying to get the offense going, though. Joey Aguilar to Chris Brazzell for 27. That dude is something else.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, he's a first down or touchdown seemingly every other play. 2 plays later, here he is. 15-yard touchdown.
I love this. CD, you mentioned it, kind of an RPO. He had an option there to safety bit down and hit Brazzell right over the top.
Yep.
17 apiece. Now 2017. Aguilar throws for Miles Ketzelman. It's tipped and picked by Jerron Manning and this Mississippi State team.
BW, you talked about it before. Aguilar doesn't throw a lot of picks, but every one he does is a tip ball dropped by a receiver.
Fluff.
Equal picks.
Bothwell. How
fluffy
about the Bulldogs? I was there 2 days ago in Starkville. They couldn't wait for this. They were very, very cautiously optimistic. How about Jeff Lebby? 4th and 7 in his own end, calls the trick play, the fake punt. Everything's going right. And then on the next play, boom.
How about the defense?
And score.
No doubt. Second defensive score of the day. They got after the quarterback, 5 sacks, including that one that dislodged the football from Blake Shapen.
27-24 Tennessee. Now 27 apiece. Aguilar to Kitzelman. Another tip and another pick. Zachary Tillman. And now Mississippi State's got it in the red zone with a chance to take a late lead.
3 turnovers by Tennessee. And again, not all Aguilar's fault, but anytime you have 3 turnovers, it surprises you even in the football game.
How about this effort by Seydou Traore into the end zone?
Jump man.
Stays in bounds. Oh, my. Little shade of green there. And a touchdown. State leads Tennessee 34-27. 4th and 4. 5 minutes to go. Aguilar. Oh.
To who?
To Brazel.
Yes.
But the catch looked good in regular speed. Slow-mo even better. Incredible. And then Aguilar, 6-yard touchdown. We're tied at 34, go to overtime, and on the first play of overtime, Deshaun Bishop to the house. Playing like a what?
Evidently, I messed up the chess reference. I said he's playing like a king, but Jonathan said it's, the queens are more effective on the
That's right. Kings don't do anything.
Queens can do everything.
All right. So now Mississippi State's got to score. 2nd down. Anthony Evans, 21 yards. 1st and goal for the Bulldogs. But it ends up 4th and goal from the 4. And then Chapin trying to keep this thing alive after an incredible effort by he and his team. But Anthony Evans cannot quite make the catch. And Tennessee gets everything and wanted and way more from second-year coach Jeff Lebby and his Bulldogs. But props to the Vols. They get out of Starkville with a big-time win to get to 4-1, 41-34. It's their 16th overtime win, most by any FBS school since 1996. And for the first time ever, they've had 40 points or more in 5 straight games. I don't know, where you want to go, because I think Mississippi State deserves a ton of credit.
You were just there.
Yeah.
People that don't understand the SEC or haven't been to Starkville before don't understand how difficult a place it is to play. And people don't understand this year's Mississippi State team is a very good football team. Now, Tennessee did not play their best game, and I used the word resiliency a lot last week. I thought this was a resilient performance from Tennessee. It was not their best game offensively. They had moments of making mistakes, but 2 defensive turnovers, the 5 sacks, and then when they needed it most, into the 3rd quarter, the possessions go interception, punt, interception, and then what does Joey Aguilar do? Takes them on a 13-play, 75-yard drive to tie the football game there and give them an opportunity even to play into overtime.
At the end of the day, Tennessee won the way that they usually win. They go on a long drive. Their defense plays well in overtime. They stop Mississippi State on 4th down in overtime. And the key play for Tennessee in the overtime is a 25-yard run by Deshaun Bishop to ice it on the very first play of the overtime. And so Tennessee won the game the same way they usually win. But I agree with you when it comes to Mississippi State. You got to give them credit. Look, they still don't have an SEC win. They're still looking for the SEC win. But this football team is night and day of where it was last year. The run game of Fluff Bothwell, he goes 23 for 134 and 2 touchdowns. I thought Blake Shapen was sharp. He did have the 1 interception. But you can see the value he brings to this football team when he's healthy. I mean, that's been the question for him, staying healthy. Offensively, they do well. And then defensively, again, they came to play. You can say Tennessee tipped the ball in the air, but you know what Mississippi State did? They caught the tip balls in the air, so they got the turnovers that they needed.
Thursday night at the Starkville Quarterback Club, they presented me with this beautiful black cowbell, personalized, and I told them, I said, if you win the game, I will ring it on the set of Saturday of SEC football final. I almost did it anyway because I thought they played really well.
They're going to get some SEC wins this year.
The streak is 13 straight SEC losses. That's going to get broken soon enough. Coming off that tough, somewhat controversial loss in Norman, they go to Kyle Field in Texas A&M, who's trying to get to 4-0 for the first time since Kevin Sumlin coached him in 2016. First quarter, Le'Veon Moss, 38 of his 139 yards, setting up a touchdown on the next play for the Aggies.
That didn't sound right, B-Dub.
Yeah, I know.
They were 11th in the conference coming into this game in rushing.
Well, it took a while for Le'Veon Moss to get going. Remember, he's coming off the injury.
That's true. They committed to running the football today, though.
How about Eric Singleton Jr.? What a catch on the throw from Jackson Arnold.
That's about the only completion down the field you're going to see from Auburn today.
Yeah. Tigers end up with a field goal, 7-3 game. A&M trying to respond, 33 yards for Reuben Owens. They ran for 207 on 47 carries as a team, but that would lead to a field goal, 10-3. Auburn offense on 3rd down, it was awful.
Putrid.
Yeah.
0 of 13 today on 3rd down. 0 of 15 on 3rd and 4th down combined.
Yeah, you saw it good in the first 3 games, bad against Oklahoma, and even worse against Texas A&M. To the tune of 0 for 13, and you see some of the O's and the 13s for that.
A lot of the same things were showing up for Auburn, especially up front, an inability to protect Jackson Arnold. by the offensive line, and Arnold not making quick enough decisions in the passing game.
All right, so you got to have your defense do something, right? Your offense isn't doing a thing. That's another tip. And there goes Terry Bussey.
Dari, I was worried.
Well, I should say Xavier Atkins
went through Bussey's hand.
Yes.
I was worried if they didn't score here that the offense wasn't going to be able to push it in from the 2-yard line.
Well, fortunately for them, they were able to. Arnold. And this is where he excels, quite frankly. And he's great with his legs. 2-yard touchdown for Jackson Arnold. They're down 13-10. Ensuing Auburn possession. Here's what we've gotten too used to seeing. And again, Hugh Freeze broke the 9 sacks against OU into 5 Arnold could do nothing about, and 4 he could have been better. That was similar here, but that's just a misfire.
You got to hit it.
Got to hit it.
Yeah, it's a throw you have got to make. A guy open, move the chains.
4th down. This would be one in the category of he couldn't do a thing about.
But see, it all adds up, and you get pressure on the quarterback. It builds over the course of the game, and then you start making poor decisions, rushing through your reads, and have those types of incompletions.
177 yards of offense for Auburn, and yes, indeed, A&M 4-0 for the first time in 9 years. It is the 3rd straight season they are 0-2 to start league play. It's not going to make a lot of Auburn people happy. Just 177 yards of offense beat up. What did the Aggies do defensively that worked so well?
Well, first of all, for the Aggies, it wasn't perfect for them. I mean, they were balanced, 207 on the ground, 207 through the air, but they have 13 penalties for 119 yards on their own. But when you look at Texas A&M, what did they need? What did they see from the film when they watched last week against Auburn? They saw an inability by the Auburn Tigers to protect the quarterback. They get to Jackson Arnold to the tune of 5 sacks. They put a lot of pressure on him. They're able to hold him 0 of 13 on 3rd down. And so the pressure, I thought, from Texas A&M was kind of copycat. And we know about Cassius Howell. We know about them only rushing 3 or 4 guys and still getting pressure. Look, CD, anytime your defense can line up and bring pressure from the outside, pressure up the gut, and not necessarily have to blitz, and when you dial it up, you always get home, you're doing really, really well. And so I thought Texas A&M played a balanced football game, not a perfect football game. I mean, Marcel Reed, you look at him, he's, 207 yards, as I mentioned before. Some stuff to get better at, but I love the fact that they committed to running the football. It was great to see Le'Veon Moss get going. Coming off that injury, that's something they're going to need moving forward.
You know who else played great defense? Yeah. The Auburn Tigers played a great defensive game today. And it reminds me, this is personal for me because it reminds me of watching my alma mater, Florida, play, where the defense does all they can do to hold you in there. You mentioned some of the offensive success that A&M had. But the defense for Auburn forced 5 field goals. They made 3 of them, missed 2 of them. The only reason you're even in the ball game is because you held them to field goal tries. Your one possession ball game in the 4th quarter. You know how many yards they got, Dari? 1 yard. Yeah. 1 yard of offense. At one point in time, we were like, oh, Jackson Arnold's only been sacked 4 times. That's pretty good. It is. It's good compared to 9, but it ain't good for a normal offensive performance. This team cannot push the ball down the field at all. They're limited in terms of what they can do.
Which is a shame because they have
best
2
part of it,
unbelievable
they got 3
receivers.
Great receivers. Horatio Fields as well.
Sure, why not?
Like how frustrating is it, can you imagine, for guys like Coleman, guys like Singleton?
Yeah.
When you see, even last week against OU, they were able to get the ball downfield. Now, he missed a couple of them, but you saw some big plays by this Auburn offense. How frustrating is it for these wide receivers, and how do you get them going?
You want this, you got this.